All right. Omid here with you once again for a market update, this time on a Wednesday. We delayed it a couple days because, as I anticipated, the government did have a shutdown today. So that's probably the most important thing we need to be talking about. So let's jump in, shall we? Okay, so as of midnight last night, both sides were not able to see eye to eye. So we have now had an official, full, not partial government shutdown. What does this mean? Well, anywhere from 750,000 to a million federal employees could be furloughed. Trump now is talking about not just furloughing people, meaning that they will set them aside and not pay them, and then after everything gets said and done, they usually will do the back pay. This time, he's talking about maybe laying off all of those folks. So we'll have to see if that's a threat or how that works out. About 76% of the workforce is temporarily reduced when these sort of things happen from the Department of Labor. 41% of the Health and Human Services folks will be furloughed, and Center for Disease Control, 64% of their workers are going to be basically staying at home and not working. As I mentioned before, typically they're placed on leave without pay, and then they retroactively get paid when this thing opens back up. But let's look at the past to kind of sort of try to understand what we're dealing with and what's going on in the future. And especially, what does this mean for folks who are watching this, who are either in the mortgage, the real estate business, building business, and or home buyers. So this was the post that we did yesterday on Instagram. Again, if you're not following us, please do, because you're going to be that much better in the know. But this shutdown now will affect buyers that are currently in process and working on FHA and VA loans. So if you're one of those buyers, and if you're not dealing with us, contact your loan officer and ask them what's going on, and make sure your deal is still going to be moving forward the right way. If you're a realtor, if you're a builder, if you're a seller, that conversation absolutely needs to be happening if you have a VA or an FHA loan being used to buy your house. If you're a federal worker, you're going to be on furlough, and that means that no underwriter will be able to approve your loan at this point because you're not getting paid. So if you're a federal worker buying a home, that could affect you. If your home that you're trying to buy or refinance is inside of a flood zone, that could also cause some delays. But really, the bigger picture out of all of those things is that there's no jobs report for us on Friday, which means that we're flying blind, and we're going to be really kind of paying attention a lot more to the ADP report, which I'll discuss in 2 seconds. Now, let's go back to the last times this happened. This happened as a full shutdown in 2013. This lasted about 16 days, and the estimated cost to taxpayer was about $2 billion in lost productivity. In 2018, 2019, we had only a partial shutdown. That one lasted for 35 days. Estimated cost to taxpayers in that one was $11 billion. And that was the longest in history, and it was triggered by the standoff over the border wall fundings. And this one is being triggered now over Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security conversations of trying to restore some of those things for the people who need them. The market is seeing weakness in mortgage-backed securities right now. Some of the market from Wall Street, from stocks, are flowing into mortgage-backed securities and treasuries, giving a little bit of a bump here. As you can see, this is the 25-day moving average. We kind of dipped below this, which is bad for rates, and now we're peeking our head just above this, which is good or okay for rates. But still remains to be seen what happened. Now, on Wednesday, today, ADP produced their jobs report showing 32,000 job losses. Apparently 50,000 job creations were expected. And so because of the fact that there is no BLS jobs report, because remember, the BLS is part of the government. If they're shut down, the BLS is shut down. The BLS, there's no jobs report. We're going to be basically flying blind, operating off of the technicals of what it is that we can see for some level of prediction of what's going to happen with this market, as well as looking at the weakness in this jobs market here, according to ADP. That's why you're seeing this bump. Weakness in economy, good for bonds, good for mortgage rates, and the reverse is also true. Also, we have no initial jobless claims on Thursday. Fun note, the gal that was fired from the BLS for reporting weaker than expected numbers last month, mid-August, was replaced by a Trump appointee who this morning they've walked that back, and they are firing him to try to find the next person. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. Typically on here, I'll have my guess on job reads for Friday. I have no guess. There is no jobs report on Friday, so we'll just having to figure it out as we kind of go along. But this is why, more than ever, we need to be on my Instagram page. That way, on the daily, we report on rates and what we see in the marketplace, etc. So get on there if you're not on there. Okay, next thing. Rates, speaking of, today, 6.37 across the board, 6.28 on jumbos, 627, 635 last week. Basically flat. It's important that we realize that the bond market always reacts ahead of something. Rates always tend to rocket up and they parachute down. So because you see this level of movement here for the worse, right? This will usually cost a quarter point the next day in rates being higher. But if you see this, it's not an exact science that this will be a quarter point better. Always remember, bad news is absorbed quickly and reacted to quickly. Good news, they're always suspicious of it. The bond traders are. Okay? So, just as a quick reminder, these rates are all national average for folks buying a home, not refinancing and putting 25% down with 780 or better credit scores. Visit with your loan officer. And if you don't have one, now you do. As always, thank you very much for subscribing. Thanks for liking. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for sharing. Let's get this news out there. There's a lot of stuff going on and it's very confusing right now. So I hope this helps. Cheers and talk to you again hopefully next week on Monday. Bye bye.